We did it. We graduated nursing school. I'm proud of myself and I'm proud of all of you that have graduated as well, getting one step closer to earning your nursing diploma. In this video, I want to go over 3 tips, 3 ways, 3 routes, however you want to say it, that helped me acquire the dream job that I had been desiring for years, 2 years, 2 to 3 years before even starting the program. And for me, that was the ICU. So I am proud to say that I was offered the job and I accepted the job. It is contingent as long as I pass the NCLEX, but I'm proud to say that I did it. And this is one of the cool gifts that I got after graduating. It is a Littman for cardiology. Seems pretty badass. It looks pretty cool. Can't wait to use it. But I'm just gonna dive right into the meat and potatoes of the video. So there's gonna be 3 tips that are gonna help you get the dream job that you have been chasing. And the third one is the most important one, so stay tuned for that one. Okay, so step 1. For me, I wanted to work in the ICU. First thing I did was get my foot in the door. I became a nurse assistant in the ICU. That is not the only thing you can do. Most units have different roles other than the nurse. They have secretaries or monitor techs. In the ICU where I work, those are really the only options. Not even monitor tech, just secretary and CNA. And if those weren't available to me, maybe they're not hiring, maybe for whatever reason I just couldn't do one of those, then what I would have done was just become a CNA at that hospital, called staffing. Hey, are they short staffed with CNAs there? Is there any way I could pick up a shift there? Somehow get your foot in the door. And so that's step 1. And this is only an option if you're able to work, while in nursing school, because you preferably want to do this while throughout the program. And then this also helps. You're acquiring knowledge, you become a sponge, you just soak up everything. And then number 2, every time you work, every time you clock in, that's your interview, that's your application. You get to show the manager there, like, your work ethic, how much you desire to work and help people. They get to see that. If they could see, oh, this person is a great CNA, a great secretary, monitor tech, whatever it be, they could almost assume that they're going to be just as good as a nurse. They're going to work just as hard in that role when they get more responsibility, Okay, and then step 2, or the second option, is going to be networking or connecting. So this kind of piggybacks off the first one. You can network or connect by either having a job there, or you can network or connect by, like, physically connecting with someone there. You have a family member there, or you have a friend in that department, the manager. That's not it's kind of luck of the draw with that one. But there's a third way, and this is what a lot of my peers did. So we have clinicals, we have ICU clinicals coming up, and a lot of them, they didn't work all throughout nursing school, but they know they want to work in ICU. So every day they show up for the clinicals, that is their application, their job interview. They show up prepared. They show up not even on time. They show up early. They have questions written down ready to ask the staff nurse. They want to meet the manager on that department. They want to shake their hand. They want to make themselves known. They want to, every time there is something going on, they want to be there. They want hands-on experience. That's what it takes. If you can't work while in nursing school, that's another opportunity. The clinicals, that's an opportunity to give yourself a shot. And the third one, the most important one that is going to help you get the dream job, is the interview. If you could get an interview, sit down in front of the manager, be it in person, be it Zoom, it does not matter. If you could get an interview, you still have a shot. And if you do 1 and 2, you got a job there, you network, connect, that doesn't mean you have the job for sure. I was a CNA in the ICU for over 2 years. Doesn't mean I had the job in the bag. I could have fumbled the interview. I could have said the wrong things, So you still have to be prepared for the interview. And a lot of my classmates, most of them didn't even work while in nursing school. They didn't even do the clinical rotation at the job they got offered. But they still got the job. Why? Because they excelled in that interview. They did well in the interview. So doing well in the interview means showing up, dressing professionally, speaking professionally, having your resume polished, your I's dotted, your T's crossed, have people look over it. You don't want to get there and then your resume, there's spelling errors. You want to have it like perfected. You want your resume to be a part of you. You want to just show up and show out. And when it comes to being prepared for the interview, it's not just tell me about yourself. Those are important. But more importantly than those questions are going to be the scenario-based questions that they're going to ask. And the scenario-based questions vary per department you're applying to. So if you're applying to med-surg tele departments, those scenario-based questions may be, you get 4 or 5 patients, they have this going on, which one would you assess first, which one would you tend to first? And with those, you have to be able to critically think and understand what they're asking, and then be able to say, I would do this with some rationales. Maybe I would see this patient first. These other patients I could delegate to my CNA. You could delegate to maybe call your charge, ask for assistance. But you have to understand the most critical patient is the one you would see first, always. And then on the other hand, if you're applying for an ED or ICU position, those scenario-based questions may be a little different. It may be just like one patient with something going on, what would you do? And it's not going to be so straightforward. They may give you cues on what the patient has. They're not just going to tell you, oh, the patient is stroke or hypoglycemic, what are you going to do? No, they're going to give you maybe 2 to 3 cues, and you have to almost hypothesize a diagnosis, and with that potential diagnosis, explain the interventions that you would do for the patient. And I just want to end the video with an example scenario. So the scenario question that I was asked in my ICU interview was something along the lines of, you're a new nurse working in the medical ICU, and a patient that is not yours self-extubates. So they pull out their endotracheal tube, they pull out their life support. What do you do? So this is an emergent situation. This is something that's not uncommon. I've seen this happen in person, and I was prepared for this scenario question. So first thing you do is you turn off the sedation. You turn off the sedation because patients that are intubated are on the sedation to shut off the respiratory drive. So first thing you do, turn off the sedation, sit the patient up 30, 45 degrees. You suction the patient. They probably have some secretion there. By suctioning, you're opening up the airway, and then you could apply oxygen, bag valve mask, maybe non-rebreather, somehow give them some oxygen. You want to be monitoring saturation. While you're doing all this, calling for help. You never leave the patient's side. Always stay with the patient. You call for help. Charge nurse, respiratory therapist. We get the team in there. You stay with the patient. You already performed 2 to 3 interventions. Now we can start assessing, hey, are they tolerating the extubation? And you could use the stethoscope, assess the lungs. We could call for an APG later. And now we're going to notify the doctor. So, first thing you never do is notify the doctor right away. That's always a lot of people's thought, oh, just call doc. No. That's almost one of the last things you do. So then you notify the doc, give SBAR, and then you always want to, when you call the doc, have some anticipatory orders, like have idea of what the doctor is going to order. And then, doc, do you want this done, this done, this done? And so that's how I kind of went through that scenario question. And that was just one question that I was prepared for, like one of over 10 questions. So when it comes to the interview, that is where it all counts. You want to blow their socks off. You want to give them no option but, to fall in love with you and give you that offer letter. So those are the 3 tips that helped me land the dream job that I've always wanted. It's not even a job, it's a calling, it's a career. And I was so excited when I got my offer letter, even more excited when I finished nursing school. And I'm excited now just studying for the NCLEX. So I hope these 3 are going to help you get the dream job. And I do plan on making more content. And I do hope the mission is for my content just to help one person, get the nursing degree and the job they want. So thank you guys for watching. All right.